Welcome, everyone. Today, we are diving into the fascinating world of human brain gross anatomy. If you have ever looked at a picture of a brain and wondered why it looks like a giant wrinkled walnut, you are in the right place. We are going to explore not just what those wrinkles are, but why they are absolutely essential for our survival and intelligence. We will also answer a profound question. Why are humans considered the smartest animals, even when creatures like whales have brains that are much, much larger than ours? By the end of this lecture, you will understand the mathematical elegance behind the brain structure. Let us start by imagining a massive, flat sheet of newspaper. If you try to fit that entire newspaper into a tiny coffee cup, what happens? You cannot just lay it flat, you have to crumple it up. It folds upon itself, creating countless ridges and valleys. This is exactly what happens inside your skull during development. The outermost layer of your brain is called the cerebral cortex. It is essentially a massive, flat sheet of tissue packed with billions of neurons. To fit this enormous sheet into the very limited, rigid space of our skull, nature cleverly folded it up. This folding is what gives the brain its iconic wrinkled appearance. Now that we understand why the brain is folded, let us look at the specific anatomical terms for these folds. In gross anatomy, the outward ridges that you can easily see are called gyri, and the inward grooves that dip down are called sulci. This entire evolutionary folding process is scientifically known as gyrification. Beyond these folds, the brain is divided down the middle by a deep groove called the longitudinal fissure, creating the left and right hemispheres. Furthermore, each hemisphere is divided into four main sections, or lobes: the frontal, parietal, temporal, and occipital lobes. Each of these lobes takes on different high-level functions, from processing what you see to making complex decisions. So, we have named the parts, but why does this folding matter so much to our daily lives? Imagine if we did not have these folds. To hold the exact same amount of cortical tissue, our heads would have to be impossibly large. Childbirth would be impossible, and our necks simply could not support the weight. The folds are a brilliant biological solution. They drastically increase the surface area of the brain without increasing its overall volume. More surface area means more room for neurons. And in the brain, more neurons directly translate to higher cognitive processing power, advanced memory storage, and complex problem-solving abilities. Without gyrification, we would be severely limited. Since folding is so crucial, how do we measure it? To quantify exactly how folded a brain is, neuroscientists use a mathematical metric called the gyrification index. This formula allows us to objectively compare the complexity of different brains. The symbol GI represents the gyrification index. It is calculated by taking the total surface area of the cerebral cortex, which includes all the hidden areas buried deep inside the sulci, and dividing it by the exposed surface area. The exposed area is what you would measure if you wrapped the brain tightly in shrink wrap. When the total surface area increases due to deeper folds, the value of GI increases, indicating a more computationally powerful brain. A completely smooth brain would have a GI of exactly 1. Before we move on, let us see this with a concrete example. Suppose a neuroanatomist uses an MRI scan to measure a healthy adult human brain. The software calculates that the total surface area, including all the hidden folds, is 2,400 square centimeters. However, the exposed outer surface area is only 800 square centimeters. We want to find the gyrification index. We substitute these given values into our formula, dividing 2,400 by 800. The units of square centimeters cancel out, leaving us with a pure dimensionless ratio. The final answer is 3.0. This physically means that 2/3 of the human cerebral cortex is hidden within the folds. The total area is 3 times larger than what is visible on the outside. Now that we have calculated the gyration index, let us look at what this actually represents physically. On screen is a cross-section of the human cerebrum. Notice the intricate, winding path of the gray outer layer. The red dashed line traces every single ridge and valley, every gyrus and sulcus. This represents the total surface area, which we just calculated as 2,400 square centimeters. Now, look at the smooth blue dotted line wrapping around the outside. That is the exposed surface area, representing just 800 square centimeters. You can clearly see how much tissue is packed inside those deep inward grooves. This brilliant biological packaging is what maximizes our cortical surface area within the confined space of the skull. This understanding of brain structure brings us to another fascinating question. Have you ever wondered why humans are considered the smartest animals, even though a blue whale has a brain that weighs almost 5 times as much as ours? If raw brain size were the only thing that mattered, whales and elephants would be writing symphonies and building spaceships. Instead, what truly matters is how large the brain is relative to the size of the body it has to control. Think of it like a computer processor. A massive factory might need a large computer just to run its basic heating and cooling systems. But a small laptop with the exact same processor can use all that power for complex tasks like video editing. Large animals need large brains just to operate their massive bodies. To make sense of this relative sizing, comparative neuroanatomy relies on something called an allometric scaling law. This law observes how organ sizes change with body size across a wide range of mammalian species. By looking at decades of anatomical measurements, scientists can predict the expected brain mass for an animal of any given body size. This baseline accounts for the basic sensory and motor wiring required just for survival. If we only looked at absolute brain weight, we would falsely conclude that larger animals are always smarter. But by establishing this baseline, we can see how much extra brain tissue a species has left over. This surplus tissue provides a rough biological proxy for intelligence and cognitive capacity. This brings us to the mathematical formula that lets us compare species objectively. The encephalization quotient, or EQ, is defined as the ratio between the actual brain mass of an animal and its predicted brain mass. In this equation, E actual represents the actual measured brain mass of the animal in grams. W represents the total body mass of the animal, also in grams. The entire denominator represents the expected brain mass for a typical mammal of that body weight, based on the power law relationship. When an animal's actual brain mass increases without a change in body mass, the EQ increases, indicating higher relative intelligence. An animal with an EQ of exactly 1 has a brain exactly the size expected for its body. Now that we have our formula, let us calculate the EQ for a typical adult human to understand our place in the animal kingdom. We're given an actual human brain mass of 1,400 grams and a total body mass of 70,000 grams, which is 70 kilograms. First, we calculate the expected brain mass by plugging 70,000 into the denominator. raising it to the power of 0.66 and multiplying by 0.12 gives us an expected mass of about 192.5 grams. This means a typical mammal of our size only needs a brain the size of a large apple to function. Finally, we divide our actual brain mass by this expected value. The result is approximately 7.27. This physically means our brain is more than 7 times larger than strictly necessary for our body size. Let us visualize what an EQ of 7.27 actually looks like. On screen is a graph plotting brain mass against body mass for various species. Because the masses vary so wildly, both axes use a logarithmic scale. The solid diagonal line represents an EQ of exactly 1. This is the baseline expectation. Notice how animals like cats, dogs, and even massive blue whales fall very close to this line. Their brain sizes scale predictably with their bodies. But look at the bright red dot representing the human. It is positioned far above the expected line. This massive vertical gap represents our evolutionary surplus. This disproportionate scaling is the anatomical foundation for our species' extraordinary cognitive abilities, language, and culture. We have covered a lot of ground today, so let us review the most important ideas. First, we learned that the human brain achieves its immense processing power through gyrification, folding the cerebral cortex into ridges and grooves to maximize surface area within the skull. We can mathematically measure this complexity using the gyrification index. Second, we discovered that raw brain size does not equal intelligence. Instead, we must look at the encephalization quotient, which compares actual brain mass to the expected mass for a given body size. Finally, we saw mathematically that humans possess a uniquely massive brain relative to our bodies, giving us the highest EQ of any animal. You now understand the fundamental gross anatomy and scaling laws that make the human mind so unique.